Hello, friends. In this video, you will learn about a truly effective practical way to distinguish a decent person from a dishonest one at the initial stage of your relationship. Moreover, this criterion, this method, which we will talk about today, works almost without fail and in many life situations. It helps to find not only a faithful friend, but also to find a companion for family life, a suitable candidate for the role of the chosen one, father or mother for your future children. In short, this is a universal criterion. It is suitable for choosing friends, people for casual communication, as well as for a serious choice of people close to you, and therefore your future destiny, future personal life. It is no secret that a person is a social creature. Therefore, our life depends very much on those people who will surround us, on those with whom we will build our relationships. Agree, it is extremely important in life, to marry successfully not just an attractive person, or a successful, rich and high-status person, but also a decent, good in every sense, reliable friend. Everyone wants to find such a person who will not betray in a difficult moment, will not deceive, will value your relationship with him. Some people would give a lot for the information that I will share with you in this video. But for this it is worth listening carefully and trying to comprehend everything you heard. Intrigued? What kind of criterion is this? What is the mysterious and enigmatic simple sign that will allow us all in advance, at the beginning of communication, to understand whether the person with whom we first met is decent? So, they won't drag it out for too long, you'll be surprised, but what you should pay attention to is the ability to voluntarily lower your self-esteem. Please write down somewhere in big letters, voluntary lowering of your self-esteem. How often is the person with whom you started communicating able to lower their self-esteem for a moment, bow their head before you, perk up, apologize? Alternatively, to be more precise, the ability to lower your ego for a moment, be grateful, sympathetic, responsive is important. You're walking down the street in a crowd of strangers and suddenly someone accidentally steps on your foot. The first reaction of this person may be something like this: "Oh, excuse me, please. Are you hurt? Let me help you." Or the second option, the person just passes by and says, "Be careful." Or the third option, "Where are you going, cow? You spin around in front of me, you crawled under my feet yourself." And you don't know the person yet, you don't even know him, but already by his first reaction to the situation, by this most valuable indicator, you already understand who is a decent person, and who is not, who is rather impudent, smug, self-confident. For some, others are important, and for others, people around are conditionally trash, and there is nothing more important in this world for such a person. Inflated self-esteem, as well as greatly reduced self-esteem, are certainly harmful options for psychological attitudes, not the most suitable state for communicating with other people. However, if a person really respects you, you are pleasant to him, he will never allow himself to offend you. Your boyfriend, with whom you are dating or went on a first date, can pretend for some time, even for a very long time, to be gallant, polite, deliberately cultured. He will seem to you an educated, successful, interesting person in every sense, will at first try to make a good impression on you. But what about decency? But if you even accidentally, unintentionally, do something wrong, for example, suddenly spill red wine on his trousers in a cafe, as if by accident, inadvertently, or again, step on his foot. His first short-term reaction will tell you about his true attitude towards you and his true qualities, the indicator of decency. Will he even start to accuse you of little things, reproach you for something? It is not for nothing that many wise people recommend that newlyweds live together for some time before the wedding, start repairs in the house or apartment, so that young people have the opportunity to enter into such stressful and even, sometimes, conflict situations as often as possible. To remove some of the veil from their eyes before marriage, so that you can evaluate the first reactions, evaluate his decency according to some special indicators. You will say, "Well, what are you telling us? What nonsense, what decency? I need passion, love, emotions from a loved one, which he or she can give me. What does decency and moral qualities have to do with it? Besides, friends, this is the basis of a happy life, happy relationships in the family, at work with a colleague, or in general in any other place where people interact with each other. I am not at all calling on you, God forbid, to deliberately spill red wine on someone's trousers, to arrange tests for your beloved, or for people with whom you are trying to build some kind of social interactions. But I want you to realize, this is the main external manifestation, the most important marker, always lying on the surface and which, unfortunately, people rarely pay attention to, often ignore, being with a clouded consciousness from an excess of romantic feelings, a surge of hormones, falling in love. Love and passion are wonderful, sex is great, this is what strengthens and cements personal relationships, strengthens the family, but without morality, without kindness, decency, there is no real love and real strong relationships. Remember this word, self-esteem. How often does the person you communicate with come to his senses, apologize to you? How often does he say, thank you, make attempts to thank, show empathy? Kind and decent people themselves are usually very grateful. Grateful to the world around them, grateful to the people around them. They thank everyone around them for a reason and, sometimes, even for no reason. They thank for any, even the most insignificant, service. A cultured and decent person always gives himself away and often says, thank you, I appreciate you. I remember when I graduated from university and was just starting my career, some of my colleagues at work did not understand me when communicating with me, they even reproached me for thanking them too often for teaching me something. They sincerely did not understand how valuable this knowledge was for me and how I wanted to be grateful, to give something in return. Now I understand that from the outside it even looked a little strange, like some kind of deliberate politeness. Why do you, Michael, say the word, thank you, so often? Another decent person even becomes a little awkward when he is thanked too often, he catches himself, as if belittling his self-esteem, and says, not worth the gratitude. As if slightly devaluing himself in front of the person he is communicating with. This devaluation, admiration for you, is an early indicator of a person's decency. An impudent and dishonest person usually does not do this, he is sincerely perplexed why everyone should say the word, thank you. Everyone owes him by definition, he has an inflated self-esteem. In a critical situation or in any conflict, he will definitely blame you, make you guilty of the current situation, even if you are not guilty. Psychologists usually say this, it is better for life to have slightly higher self-esteem than lowered. Moreover, I argue with this in this video, since this is an unproven statement. There should be no such category of evaluation as better or worse here at all. Better for whom? The world only becomes better from universal respect, admiration of people for each other, from trust and gratitude of people, and not from selfishness and inflated self-esteem. One of my acquaintances after a trip to Switzerland could not believe that in some cantons there, especially in small towns, there are self-service stores, without employees, while there are no video surveillance cameras in such retail outlets. Everything there was based only on trust and decency of people. Culture, human decency presupposes universal observance of social norms, and this makes our life better. Take whatever you want in the store, but pay honestly. A decent person tries never to borrow money from any of his friends unless necessary. In addition, if he did, then some pangs of conscience make him strive to repay the debt much earlier than the due date. For example, good, kind and decent people always strive to pay you back earlier than even the due date. For example, I have never had any debts in my entire life, not a single loan, and once, due to a forced situation, I had to borrow a small amount of money from a friend, my bank card did not work, and I had to borrow cash from someone nearby, a friend. However, this oppressive feeling of debt forced me to take the money to my colleague and return it the next day. The realization that you paid off the debt immediately relieved the tension and brought some psychological relief. Surely, those who have ever done business or worked in the service sector, have ever sold something in their life, will not let me lie, decent people are the best clients. All people are different and usually, according to their attitude to the seller or the one who provides some service. They are conventionally divided into several categories. The best customers are those who almost immediately try to pay you back, to give the entire amount for the goods or service in full, so as not to feel this oppressive feeling, the feeling that you owe someone. It's as if they feel awkward holding the prepared sum of money in their hands are itching to pay faster, to thank. They try to reward in advance the one who does something good for them, whether it's doing repairs, selling something, or simply showing respect. Sometimes a worker, a builder, a master, hasn't finished his job yet, and the client, who is a decent person, driven by his conscience, is already in a hurry to give him all the money. The world would be a better place if everyone were decent, but unfortunately, this is just a utopia. Human qualities are very clearly manifested in this, when you see how a person treats you and how easily he parts with money, whether he is generous, whether he is ready to voluntarily lower his ego in front of you. A decent person thanks, tries to do something else in return for your gift, to do you a favor or just treat you to something tasty. Someone delays paying until the last minute, someone counts every penny, brazenly bargains, trying to belittle someone else's work. The best and kindest people get rid of money immediately and with joy. The funniest thing is that such people may not be appreciated by others. Their kindness and decency, unfortunately, are often used by impudent and dishonest people. But it is such decent people that you should look for on your path. And now let's talk about finding a loved one, love and life partner. There is a saying, women like bad boys, they like scumbags. Yes, indeed, women are biologically attracted to confidence, brutality, masculinity, sometimes self-confidence in a man, which means that very often women unconsciously choose a dishonest person, very confident, narcissistic, with high self-esteem. But do not confuse self-confidence with dishonesty, with impudence. Such a man is good only for a short time. For strong and long-term relationships, for building a happy family, you can't do without decency, without morality and kindness. If someone confuses impudence, dishonesty with self-confidence, as supposedly positive qualities, then he is, of course, mistaken. Moreover, these important markers, self-deprecation, participation, desire to show interest in you, this is what you should pay attention to first of all when communicating with a person. Who calls on the phone first? What emotions and reactions are caused by stress factors? Considering that today, according to the latest statistics in industrialized countries, there are approximately 103 divorces per 100 marriages, that is, 103% of people get divorced, people do not take into account what I am talking about now, which means that the relevance of this video is extreme. With those who have too high self-esteem, who put their interests above the interests of other people, it will be difficult to build either a strong friendship or true love, or even friendly relations. Yes, such people, with extremely high self-esteem, starting from kindergarten or elementary school often become leaders of the team. They enjoy the authority of the crowd, but they themselves get used to their privileged status. They themselves, due to their inflated self-esteem, lose the ability to empathize, sympathize. There is only one piece of advice: try to prevent such dishonest people from penetrating your social circle, as they will be ready to betray you, cheat, offend you at any moment. What is true, great and pure love? How to find it? True love is the one that not only does not pass over the years, but also on the contrary, only gets stronger. The reason for such a large number of divorces is precisely that many perceive love as a solitary, individual feeling, so to speak, making love alone and, sometimes, unrequitedly. As folk wisdom says, one loves, and the other allows himself to be loved. However, this, of course, is not our desired option. So how to find true love? The answer is surprisingly simple and follows from the first part of this video. Mutual and true love is possible only, exclusively, between two decent people. True love, not infatuation and not passion, but love in the full sense of the word. This is a phenomenon, the variable of which is only the level of moral qualities. The importance of this variable in the equation called true love is key. Neither external attractiveness, nor sexual attraction, nor any other criteria and signs, but only and exclusively moral qualities. Only a good person is capable of love. Yes, imagine, not all people have this ability. This is not a natural, but an acquired ability. Living beings that do not have moral qualities are simply not capable of truly loving. The criterion of morality, decency, the ability to endure and overcome adversity is almost the only reliable sign of long-term relationships and a happy family life. By the way, not only family life, but in general this variable is the key to success in relationships between people in completely different circumstances. By the way, very often the following phrase is mistakenly asserted in relation to young children: our children love us. When they say this, they mean a feeling of affection, a feeling of tenderness, children's dependence on adults and a natural feeling of gratitude. But true love is a skill of a completely different level, an acquired skill. Love, like morality, must be learned. Children's love for their parents is not what we are discussing. The real one can only be acquired in the process of upbringing, pumping up the ability to love and be loved, developing a special emotional intelligence over the years of upbringing and development. Moreover, of course, small children, infants and young children, as strange as it may seem, are simply not capable of love by definition, in the sense in which I am discussing it. Without morality and decency there is no love. In the same way, infantile adults who have not yet developed these qualities in themselves are not capable of truly loving. The main and not the most obvious indicator of true love, it is when your loved one begins to like you more and more with each passing year. You are comfortable with him, you understand each other perfectly, there is no need to pretend and hide anything from each other. True love lies in the joyful fulfillment of the desires of the one you love. A loving husband always cuts the best piece of meat for his wife, and she, in turn, tries to put the best cake she can reach on the table on her husband's plate. These, friends, are, so to speak, the small details of a happy family life. Indicators of true love, by which, like a navigator on instruments, you should navigate. Respect for a partner and the ability to bow before him is an early indicator of decency. True feelings are when both are decent and both seem to belittle themselves in front of each other. By the way, I heard such an interesting and original definition of the concept of friendship. True friendship is akin to true love, it is when one friend has no right to ask, and the second, accordingly, has no right to refuse. I will give an example of interaction between people based on such an ideal reference friendship. I will tell a short story. A friend suddenly needs to go to the airport at night. He calls his friend and asks, "Buddy, can you take me to the airport tomorrow night? After all, my flight departs at night." If this were a real friend, decent, sincere, he would never call and make such a request to his friend. After all, this is a friend, and you are acting a little unfairly, deliberately forcing your friend to stay up all night, to take you to the airport, causing him trouble. He, as a real friend, should hire any, even the most expensive taxi, give any money, but take care of sleep and not disturb his best friend on such an occasion. And that second friend, in turn, if he is considered a real friend, of course, also has no right to refuse. After all, this is, by definition, real sincere friendship. Moreover, here is such a psychological dilemma: one has no right to ask, and the other has no right to refuse. It is on such moral contradictions, on the desire to do better for others, that true sincere relationships between people close to each other are built. Friendship, which is akin to true love. It is always very, very difficult to find such friends, there are never many of them in life. In addition, here again, as you understand, at the heart of everything is a subtle matter consisting exclusively of morality and human decency. Thus, as decency is necessary for true love by definition, so is true friendship, and in general for any sincere relationships between people. That is why it is important to have an understanding of what a person's self-esteem is, how to understand the conditional beacons that indicate a person's decency and dishonesty. To define the concept of true love, I will cite another well-known and very wise statement by Rabbi Dr. Abraham Twersky. To his question, "Why do you like fish?" the young man answered him, "Because I love fish." You love fish, so you caught it, killed it and cooked it. Don't tell me that you love fish. You rather love yourself. And because you simply like the taste of fish, you caught it from the water, killed it and cooked it. Much of what we call love is actually a kind of love for fish, in quotes. And true love is, first of all, giving, not taking. I hope I have given you food for thought, and these beacons will be a useful hint in your life. I have given you the main reference points to pay attention to. Does my boyfriend wake up in front of me? Are my friends ready to lower their egos, or do they only need some kind of benefit from me, selfish interest? Or does this interest lie only in the plane of our communication, enjoying each other? Do they listen to me or do they prefer to speak themselves, pulling the blanket over themselves? I hope you have grasped the main idea and meaning of this most important criterion, a person's self-esteem. Subscribe to this channel, there will be many more interesting and useful thoughts for life. Thank you for your attention and see you soon.